Hello, hello, hello. What a fun start. Um, OBS crashed pretty hard on the stream button there. I think must be one of the most pressed buttons on OBS, so presumably has had a lot of testing. Software is hard. I don't blame them. Hello, hello. Apologies for the bumpy start, but good morning, evening, afternoon, etc. Wherever you are in the world. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. Evening to the regulars. Aaron, Emre, AC, Quacko, Julian, Mario. Glad you guys are all here. Hope everything's going okay. Yo, Jake, hello. So, a couple of announcements before we start. Based on the shenanigans of last stream, I have enabled Nightbot on both Twitch and YouTube and tweaked the settings slightly. It also means if you are a member or subscriber, you are less aggressively attacked by Nightbot, so that is useful. And then tweaked a little bit for others. Hopefully, filter out any distractions easier and earlier today, which will be good. And then I tweaked the noise gate on OBS. Be interested to know if this makes sense, because I don't listen to this doing it, so I don't know if that's better. There was a couple of comments that there's, when I stop speaking, there's like a noticeable audio gap. So either the tweak in the noise gate makes it noise gate down. Okay. How's that? Any better? Okay, how's that? I could just turn it right. Okay, let's try this. I'll switch the noise gate off, and I can now see on the monitor there's a lot more background noise. So I don't know how this is. Is this better or worse? So this is the baseline where it is, and then I'm going to keep talking and switch the noise gate back on. So the noise gate is now back on. I've lowered the close threshold. So you're hearing noise now. Again, like I have to kind of do this live, which is a bit of a pain, so I do apologize. So this now, we think this is good? Good? Question mark? Yes? No? Hello? There's a noticeable improvement. The problem is, though, I've done the classic thing where I've now changed 3 things. I'm not sure. Let's go with that, and then we can up as we go along. Sounds good. Okay. Down. Is that better? Hang on, let's bring the open down a bit as well. How's that? Any better? Are we good? Seems good so far. Okay, well, I'm going to keep talking as I am wont to do, and we will tweak things as we go along. I'm not an audio engineer, so I kind of vibe noise gate. Okay, have I made a massive error by trying to change this and not making? I also very stupidly did not make a note of the values I had before. The threshold and range ratio is still too high. Okay, well, kind of out at this point. The majority of people seem to think it's okay, so I'm going to keep going and we'll just adjust as we go along. I can see on the monitor it's picking up my audio, and speak quietly, it still seems to be picking something up. And I guess I could shout at it, and that seems okay. So, by and large, we can make progress. So that's that. New video out. You should also go watch it. If you've not, that'd be grand. But for today, so some forward engineering. we're gonna keep adding more Lua. So basically what we're doing is we're slowly adding Lua into our little game. I don't know if the game is in a place where we can show it. Let me bring it, see if I can bring it up. I'm glad you enjoyed the jokes. They were a little bit British focused, but sometimes I just need to indulge myself. Okay, so we've got this. So we've got some basic 3D rendering, we've got a camera, we've got a person, we've got some inputs. The barrel moves with the player, and then when it aligns to the target, we start the next level with different movement mechanics, and then we just cycle between the two. So that's kind of what we've got. At the moment, all those levels are hard-coded in separate CPP files, and that's a bit of a pain. I want to be able to fast iterate on it and potentially open up the ability for others to easily add levels. So we're going to try and drive that through Lua. That's the end goal. That's what we've been trying to work towards. What's some actual advice, some actual numbers? Let me try that. Filters, noise gate. I'll try. That's the. So that's the release set to 100 milliseconds. And which threshold? There's two thresholds. There's an open gate and a closed gate. Which one should I be lowering? I'm happy to kind of outsource this, crowdsource these. Yeah, I know. I'm not going to fix that height. It's fine. It's a feature now. I don't know why it's mirrored. That I plug the camera in. Well, I guess OBS flips it, because when I would record on the camera, I just hit record on it and then take the file off. But through OBS, it seems to mirror it. I followed a guide from Reddit, and I don't really see how I could make this any worse. Okay, how's that? Are we cooking? How's that going? Kind of weird talking just to talk. Like I feel like I don't know what to say, but I'm sure I'll think of something. Okay, so we've been slowly integrating Lua. We've got some tests, we've got a couple of primitives, we've got a Lua script which kind of abstracts over the C API, in fact, show don't tell, so we can call like set function and then set arguments and then execute and then get results. This is really cumbersome, so we have a script runner abstraction over that, and then that drives this API through templates, so it's super easy for us to use. We can basically just say, here's a script, execute this function with these arguments and get out these return values, and it just drives all that for us nicely. So that's kind of nice. What we were doing last stream was to start plumbing in the game primitives that we've got. So we have a vector3 class, which is not too unsurprising. Hopefully that's not too shocking to anyone, XYZ, and I want Lua to be able to use this as a first class citizen. So all these math operators, the format like this normalize, cross, all those kind of things, Lua should be able to call those, and then that will call out to the C++ code. So we've been slowly trying to integrate that. And then where we got to with this was where did we get to? We registered the constructor, and that works internally. What we're trying to do now is have it so we can set a vector3 and pass that into the Lua script. So we can create a vector3 in C++ land and then push it in. Oh my god, just loads of comments. I've just been prattling along. Let me go through these. No, I didn't program the Lua interpreter. This is just the standard Lua C interpreter. Mirror Nathan only writes Rust and decries the use of exceptions. Yes, that's like the my antithesis, the anti Nathan. Heavy Gaming, glad you got some pizza. I'm jealous. Queco is the Twitch vanguard. I don't think he's ever going to move over. Yeah, so we started doing this, and then we started writing some tests for it. The script tests. So this is the test here. So the idea is that it accepts a v, and then we construct our vector. We set that as an argument, and then we execute it. And this crashes. This panics. So this is as far as we had traveled. The thing to do today is trying to understand this bug. To do that, we need better introspection into the Lua state. We need to be able to dump the Lua stack. I think that will give us, right here, right now, better diagnostics, and in the future, better diagnostics. So we're going to basically start to integrate that. I think that's going to be the first thing. It shouldn't be too tricky. It shouldn't be too tricky. Not too tricky at all. We've already started the language war. Outrageous. Maybe I'll go into my view on exceptions later, because it's always good for a controversial short, which gets me lots of views. Why? What is the better option to pass functions as params? Stud functions or function pointers? It depends what your end goal is, and I guess what your inputs are. If stud functions are type erased, so they potentially do a heap allocation, but you can stuff a lot more into them. You can stuff lambdas into them, that kind of thing. So that gives you a little more flexibility. If you know exactly the function you want and you don't need to persist it or anything, then function pointer might be better off. It's more lightweight. Nope, there was no other consideration other than that I've done some Lua before, so I thought I'm going to stand up and do it live in front of 1 to 200 people, as is sort of normal-ish viewer numbers. I should at least try and do something I have a hope of being able to look semi-competent in. So, although, as we have discovered in previous streams, I've had to learn a lot as I go along anyway, so here we are. I think it's simple. I don't think it's too bad. I think it should be relatively easy to integrate, and I have done some of this before, so I guess that's kind of my design decision. It doesn't really extend to anything more rigorous than that. Yeah, I mean, it's not perfect, but then no language is, so it's where we're at. Oh, Nightbot. We should be able to do Bang Discord on both YouTube and Twitch now. I don't know if someone wants to try it out for me. That'd be exciting to see if that works. I'll let you all rush to do that. It should time it out, so you can't do it too often. Nice. Okay, there is not... Reports Nightbot for spamming. I will tweak the settings as we go along, but that seems to work, so that's the most important thing. Okay, apparently there is no threshold or timeout. Yes, I want to maybe add one that a setup one that points to my Git files. I might have one which is like bang auto return, so I can just have a bit of bump about why I use training return types. That's... Which one is that? That's sad. Okay, try... I think the Twitch one's working, which is... Try that, and then I will fix... Actually, can I fix Nightbot now? Which one am I signing up? What annoys me about Nightbot is that you have to log in separately for Twitch and YouTube, which means I have to do one in an incognito browser, and I have no idea which one I've logged into on which. and it's not immediately obvious to me which is which. Commands, I think it's this one. Okay, I've updated the YouTube one, so you should try that again in a few minutes and see if it works. Okay, so back to this. We have, as of last stream, which took way longer than I thought it was going to, we have this nice built-in way of formatting custom objects now. So all we have to do is provide a toString method, either as a member or as a free function, and then we can format things. So I think what we want to do is be able to format the Lua state object, and then that, when we format it, that will print the current stack out. I think that might be the best way. Oh no, have I given... Oh, oh I'll sort it out later. So auto to string Lua state string. So if we print this, then we can take the Lua state object inside the unique pointer and then toString it, which means we can pass it to std format. It means we can pass it to std println. It means we can shove it into an exception once I finish fixing that, which I'll try and do today. But also, I kind of want to be able to do this from Lua itself, like the Lua script object. So if I do auto toString const string, what I suspect this will do, my current plan, thinking about it, is for this to call this, and then get the best of both worlds. It means if we are, for instance, somewhere in some of the interop code, which is just like a pure function without this Lua script, without this class abstraction, we can still toString it. Otherwise, if we just got the script object, we can toString it. That's kind of my thought process. I think that will work all right. It also means then that if we throw an exception within Lua script, we can just pass ourselves like this, potentially into the formatter, which then means the exception will then not only have the stack trace of where it was called from, but it should also have the Lua call stack. And I think that might be quite nice. For those of you who like exceptions. For those of you who don't, you can look away and pretend I returned it as an error object. Okay, let's write some code. State. String. I think we will write a test today. Well, I'm hoping we'll fix a test today, and then I think we'll probably end up writing some more. So I think looking at the docs, we should be able to do Lua get top, that returns the index of the top element of the stack, because in set 1 the result is equal to the number of elements in the stack. 0 means empty stack. So this means we can get the number of elements in the stack, and then we should be able to loop through them and print each one out and just format it. I want a string stream for this. String and then return string. Made it first stream, Jeff. Glad you're here. Is it str? There's definitely some inconsistency in the standard about what that is. It's string on path system path, I think. It's string, yeah, but isn't it string on something else? I don't know. I just work here. So So const auto stack size equals Lua get top state. For auto I equals 0, what is returning int? I is less than. Could use a range with stood iota? Or is that pushing ranges too much? Yes, you're right. Indexes start at 1. Does that have to be strictly larger than? That's what I'm thinking, actually. I was kind of being a little bit glib, but... index in stood ranges iota 1 to stack size stood views reverse. And then like if stack size equals 0, return. Stood ranges iota. Sorry, stood views, isn't it? Just look at the docs. So this will go from 1 to the stack size, and then I think, was this uninclusive? So that going to be +1, and then reverse it. So we'll get we'll start at the top of the stack and work our way down. Is that right? We'll give it. You know what? We'll give it a go because we can probably test this. And then I think we want to do the type returns the type of the value of the given valid index, or to known for a non-valid, and then it's going to be one of these, right? So then we just switch on these, and then we can just handle each of them as we need to. So Elias or Elias, apologies if I get that wrong. Yes, I want to be able to iterate faster on the levels, so I want to do them in something that is easier than creating loads of C++ files and compiling them and linking them. However, that being said, the amount of time we spent on doing the Lua, I probably could have written 10 levels by now, but here we are. We all make mistakes. I also think it's useful as a learning exercise to kind of show people how I would abstract over a C API in C++. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I think there is hopefully something for people to kind of find interesting and learn about. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. Type equals Lua type state index. Then switch type. What's Lua type name? Returns the name of the type. I think I want the Lua type as an int so I can switch on it, because you can't switch. You can only switch on integral types in C++. Case Lua t. I'm just going to do it in. I'm just going to go through them in the order that they are here, at least for now. And probably just do something like strum nil break. Yeah, but I still need to switch on it, right? Because won't I eventually need to call something like toString or toBoolean or toNumber depending on the type to get that data out, right? Because I'm going to want to print the stack. The stack dump should have the type name and then the value. So then I would just have a load of if else's. Yeah. So I think this is right for what I'm trying to get to. But apologies if I didn't make that clear. And hence maybe the confusion. But for now, I just want to get something building, get something compiling, get something wired up, and then like iterate on it. I'm kind of bored of this. Can I? Right, so QA, go to there, yank that, case, strum, B, break, caps lock, J, Q. That was easier. Default, strum, unknown. And then at the end of this, strum \n. Oh yes, you're right, well done. Doesn't matter because I'm going to replace all this anyway, but 920 followers on Twitch, that's exciting. Thank you very much for Bleed Kappa for pushing that over that. Okay, right, so again, I'm doing Lua because why not? I have a bit of experience in it. I think it's I think it is a appropriate language for what we want to achieve. A lot of people know it. It could be a bit of fun. It's not CStr because I want to return it as a std string rather than a C string. I could call CStr and then it would be implicitly cast to a std string, but why bother? Might as well be explicit. I think that's right. So then we should be able to do auto Lua script to string const std string, and then we should be able to return to string state.get. Oh no, it's Lua, isn't it? I don't know why did I call it Lua rather than state? We all make mistakes. Okay. But definitely the toString in the oh, it's not in the global namespace, isn't it? So I bet I have to disambiguate it with the namespace. There we go. Yeah, it couldn't disambiguate. Well, sorry, it's not an ambiguity. It will match the class one and assume that that is the one it needs to call. Whereas I have to say, oh, I want to call this outside of the class, but within this namespace. That's why I had to do that. Let's see. So now, if we do Lua script tests, formatter. Before we run this test, let's do test Lua string to string, and we'll do. Doesn't actually matter what the code inside is. Let's do script equals game Lua script. Okay, and then I should be able to do something like script set argument 1. Set argument 3.0f. Set argument 2, and then script dot set function func. So what this should do is it should, if we look at what Lua script does under the hood, this should push these. Oh, we can do a string as well. Let's do a string here. So what this should do is this should push things to the stack, right? So it should set these arguments, setting the function, I think, also pushes it to the stack. Oh, it does check it exists. We might need to do this. Print v, so that should push that. So excellent question. I do drink. I wish it was vodka, but it's not. Actually, probably prefer gin, but regard as a clear spirit. But no, it's just water. I only have one, and always regret not bringing backup. So it's pretty. It gets pretty warm in this office. So that's all. That's on me. Maybe a bit more flush because I have been out, as you can sense by my increasingly miserable tan line. I have been out in the sun a lot today, and may or may not have had a couple of beers in the sun, and before the stream started. So maybe that's why. Oh no, I love gin. It's great. I prefer. I mean, going down that route, I would probably actually prefer whiskey, like a nice peaty Islay, but or beer. I should train the cat to bring me more. I definitely do not drink enough water during the day as normal, so I actually drink more on stream than I normally do. It's just because I'm talking a lot more than I probably normally do in real life, so it helps keep the pipes lubricated. Not for me, flavoured whiskey. I prefer, like I say, like Bowmore or Ardbeg or something pretty peaty, like like straight from the bog. But you do you. If you enjoy it, I'm not gonna knock it. Okay, so this should push a load of shit to the stack, and then we should be able to do. I might just do this to start with, and then we'll. Actually, no. Let's do this. Yeah, let's do that. No. What am I trying to do? I want to const auto str equals stood script. So that should format that, and then I should assert equals str number. All right, that's going to be wrong. I just want to see what it prints out first. I'm literally just doing this to drive that. So let's just run the test. Nope, that's going to run the game. Let's run the tests and see where we get to. I guess maybe I need to be a little more explicit and Lua script dot to string. I love Belgian Abbey beers. Like Lef is one of my favourites. Absolutely love it, and that is like what 6-7%. Some of the good stuff you get when you go to Europe, which you can't get over here. I think some of them are like 11%, like the triple blonde or something like that. But yeah, bloody love Lef. Okay, why did that not run? What am I? Oh, because. Anyone else see it? This will work. I mean, it won't work. You know, like the test won't work. Okay, cool. So in reverse order, we had. So we're expecting function string number. Okay, that seems pretty good to me. I think we're on to something. So let's go back to the implementation. Now we want to, in each of these, get the value from it. But also, ranges. Not a bad use of ranges. I should check it's also an empty like I should test this case as well, like an empty string return, like an empty stack returns an empty string. I am tempted to change the. Do I leave these as the Lua underscore t? Because that is, I suppose, yeah, I might as well, because that is what that type is. I guess it is kind of obvious all in uppercase. So then I want to do. Actually, can I? Feel like what I want to do is stood format. Delete all that because I didn't like it. Actually, no. What? Don't like nil is nil, right? Nil is nil. So stood format, and then is it get number? Oh, but isn't there? I picked a bad one to start with because there could be. This is going to need some extra functionality in it because this is going to have to be is integer. Get the integer. Is float get the float. Let's try the other ones first. So this is what Lua get 2. I thought it was 2 Boolean, and then state, and then index. Not that we have them yet, but let's try it with this. This is actually one that we can observe. So back use backslash Lua to string state index. Okay, let's just see if that works. Okay, cool. Why would that not? That. We'll just go full Python on this. It is hot in this Rhino. Okay, that's cool. And then we'll do the. Can I get the function name? Is that a thing I can get? There's a lot of these. I don't think there's any extra data you can get to it. Strings are not necessarily null terminated. Is that? I think that is true. What does toString guarantee you? Converts the Lua value. If there's not null, it sets them with a string length. The Lua value must be a string or a number, otherwise the function is null. Lua L string returns a pointer to a string inside the Lua state. The string always has a 0 after its last character, as in C, but can contain the 0 in its body. So I think we're okay. So, but good point, and always worth checking. Can I get like function name? Like, well, is it get? Okay, we'll leave that for now because I think these are just, I don't care too much about these. So it's really this one. So this is going to want a bit of extra logic in it. So this is going to be if can I just do this with a ternary and make this easier? Format and do something like Lua is integer state. Hello. State index, and then if is integer returns 1. So if that is 1, then Lua 2 integer. Oh, isn't that going to be different types? I don't think that's going to work. I don't think you can mix types in a ternary, can you? Yeah, you can DM me on Discord. That's absolutely fine. I kind of expect people to do it. So that is a-okay by me. Fine. If Lua is integer state index was 1, then Lua state int that, and then that would be the format Lua to integer the index, else stream Lua number f float to number. That's good to me. Cool. Okay. I wonder if its G-test in its printing has escaped those characters, or not escaped because it's got the N there. It doesn't really matter. We're gonna go back to the test and do const auto expected equals R. What was it? Lua T function. Take all this. Oh, this is grim. Let's give this a go. Yes, Aeon. Apologies. We could have just two-stringed them and it would have been fine. So good I put it in there twice. Nailed it. Okay, cool. So that's the stack dumping done. So, well, kind of. So we got format the script with stack. Now we need to go back to our failing test, which was Angelo, super chat. Your DRM research is awesome, important. Love your work. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. I think I'm kind of reliving old research to a certain extent. Like I'm trying to solve it myself from scratch because I think it's an interesting problem, but I won't say I'm doing anything like massively groundbreaking. What I hope I'm doing is making that kind of knowledge interesting and accessible and engaging for other people. But yeah, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I think I'm not too sure about the innards of the Lua interpreter. I think it's synchronous, so I think it executes your code then comes back. So I think Lua has the concept of a thread, but I think it's different to your process thread. But I'm sure Harand or someone can correct me on that. Yeah, I think I was right, and I think I explained that correctly. Yes, I'm aware it has coroutines. Oh, maybe we could wire that up to C++ coroutines. That'd be fun. But also, not needed for now. So we know coolvector3 arg fails, and we stepped through this with a debugger last time, and it was where was it? It was setting the arg, obviously. The script. So when we set the argument, we push the three floats the 3 components to the stack, and then we reuse the interop code, which automatically pulls this off the stack and does it. So what I think we need to do is take our interop code, and I think we need to rewrite this because I don't think this is right. I think we need to here at this for a start. Third party, go down, hash include Lua script. Yeah, because 1, 2, and 3 I think is guaranteed in this sense, because we should only be calling, as part of like the contract, we should only be trying to construct a vector once we know those things are on the stack, and they should be at the top of the stack. But we do need to check them, and I think this is part of the problem. So what I'm hoping we can do is error, right? And we should be able to do something like ensure Lua is number state 1 equals 1, and then in the sense that fails, it should be stack index 1 not number, and then dump the state, and then that should tell us what the actual stack was at that time. That's kind of my thinking. I think we might need the formatter for this. And it's the first one that fails, so I'm just going to run this and see what happens, because this is getting quite grumpy at me. Blah. What are you looking at? What am I looking at? I'm looking at this hot mess. But it is formatable because I just told you how to do it, and it's in the Lua script. Shouldn't need lua.get because I've got just the state object here. I know, right? All the information is in here somewhere. The formatter should pick up, right? It will try and instantiate a formatter object templated on this type based on the constraint that there exists a toString for it, which it does. So I don't think I have to reference it, but I want to call this, right? This is what I want to do. I want my exception message to include the Lua state. It's not like it's like, oh, it's const export or anything like that. This is literally saying it doesn't exist. But here we go. Look. Formatter, note the concept evaluated to false, right? Formattable with. Doesn't think I can format a Lua state object. Right, like the whole point is like everything should use the formatter magic, right? Because that's how I wrote it. ensure with the predicate, I do wonder if this, I mean, this is using runtime view format anyways. Like this probably could be better, have better compile time functionality by using the format args type, and that was a mistake I made early on not doing that. So we should go back and add that. But for now, like this should work. No, because this I cannot control this signature. This is a signature that Lua requires when doing the interop. So I register against the vector3 string this function. So when the Lua script calls vector3, as in what is effectively the constructor, it will call this. And I'm trying to reuse this functionality. So this should pass the state on. Like format is available here. Why? Yes, it's in here. Well, I haven't included the implementation. I've included the definition, the declaration. So I've included the declaration. No, because again, well, this is what we're going to be doing for the rest of the stream now. Just like everyone, buckle up. It's miserable template errors now for the next hour. I defined it as this. So I've said when you try and format a Lua state object, like a pointer to a state object, here is how you do it. I think there's some nuance I'm missing somewhere, but this works fine for vectors and other stuff. The gin is starting to sound tempting. Where have I gone wrong? Like this, we know this works for vectors and stuff like that because we tested it and it's fine. All right. Let's have a look at formatter. So when you include formatter, you will get a copy of this template definition. When you try to format something, it will look for a formatter specialized on your type. And it should see this. And this will only instantiate if can format is. So actually, can format the state pointer. Interesting. Okay, so it thinks this cannot format it. That's why it's not instantiating this template, right? It doesn't think that there exists just a toString for it. Why? So has toString free. Static set failed. Game. toString should be in the namespace. I did think of this. There should this should not have any ADL shenanigans because toString is within the namespace, right? Concepts are just a way of constraining templates. You have to match the concept in order for that template to be considered part of a viable candidate for the instantiation. Is it something? I wonder if it's something weird to do with pointers. Hang on. Have you seen an issue? Right. This here is this uses the CPO, right? Because this it's accessing this toString here. This toString is this CPO object. Which should match on either of these. But what I'm doing is to verify, I've bypassed all this. I'm just using the raw concepts that I would use to drive the CPO. And this is failing, and I can't understand why it cannot find this toString. What if I do something like yeah, that's the next thing to try. So that works. And that doesn't work because it's using the concept which I was expecting. Actually, let's just remove this. So this, as far as ClangD is concerned, works. Oh, very strange. This is very much breaking my understanding. I kind of want to get to the bottom of this because it's important. It's important for the formatter, it's important for the error handling, and it's kind of important to the whole thing. We can test this. It does build. Okay, so this does indeed format the string. We could even go one step further. Just check that is doing what we think it is. It's interesting it didn't print anything here, so that is definitely the issue, but we can also see here this was working. So the stack is empty here, which is strange, and we should figure that out. But also, I don't understand why this works, but this doesn't. Yeah, maybe v format doesn't, but interesting. Why can make format args not print that out? I think whoever suggests that is correct. I think why. V format C++ V format not finding custom formatter. V format would have been with 20, right? Yeah, definitely with 20. It must be something to do with format args. Yeah, it's definitely is 100% an L value, right? It's got a name. So where's make format args? I'm digging this a bit. Returns an object that stores an array of format arguments. So this is what's defaining it. The program is ill-formed. I think it's saying if it's not doesn't satisfy formatable with context. Is there something in here about pointers? Oh, what is this? Love me an unmove. So the formatter just has to have remove const volatile ref semantics. Yeah, I think we're onto the right track here. So what's like C++ third V format pointer? I wonder if this is this just an issue with any pointers? Can you provide right? Here's a question. Is this just a thing you can't do? You're super lame if this is true. So out the box, it will only print void pointers, right? But what I'm saying is, can I overload it can I provide a specialization? Formatters for other pointers and pointers to members are disallowed. I spent an entire stream building this entire system around the fact that I would be able to just print a Lua state. I am deeply upset. Yeah, we're just gonna have to. We're gonna have to fudge this. Everyone, look away. Let's have an optional pointer. Is that even worse? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want, but I need more than the memory address, right? I need more. I need to print the stack. I don't want to dereference it because I don't want to risk copying it. I don't know what's inside that object. The whole point is it's an opaque. It's a C API, and this pointer is an opaque type. I shouldn't be doing anything with the value type. Like the API, their API dictates that I should only be communicating with it via a pointer, and I want to maintain that. I could wrap it in a optional. Which seems a bit gross. Or I could just wrap it in this. Can you pass a pointer into a reference wrapper? So I could unique pointer it because I already have a unique pointer, and I did just think of this. However, for exactly this situation here with the interop, right? I'm just given this object. I need to be able to print this outside of my abstraction. So I think, to be honest, I think the Lua state. I think as much as I hate it, I think this is the right choice. And I just do auto state equals object state. And I should just be able to do this. Can't use dynamic cast. I don't know what this type is. Like, it's almost certainly not a C++ object, right? And I don't know what. I imagine that's undefined behavior. No, it's fine. I don't like it. But this is kind of an internal thing anyway. I'm not. The whole point of the abstraction is that a lot of this should be handled for us. So, for instance, here, like, again, this should just work. I now have to do the object wrapper. Yeah, I'd be interested to know why. Like, why is that a thing? No, there's no way you can tell. I mean, I can tell the compiler to do it by writing the code to do it. It seems very strange. I don't know. Das Candy, you've been around a bit. Like, you've worked on a lot of standards. Any insight as to why you can't have custom pointer formatters? It is allowed to do one-touch cast, but when it comes to template type deduction, I don't think it will do that casting. I could be wrong, and we can try it in a second. He's writing one now. That's why he's not saying anything. He's furiously writing it out. Error 35. Make format args. Cannot convert type EY ref. This feels like a mistake on my part. Why won't it let me have a temporary? Like, I don't think this will do the implicit cast for us. I can give it a try. Oh, have I got a... Right, this is lame. Auto wrap state equals Lua state object wrapper state. I'm creating a bit of a mess at the moment, but in theory it's a game. In theory. Okay, so we got it through our exception, which is good, which means we can capture that and check it in a second. No, I'm not that keen on using UB. Having just spent the last 3 weeks fixing the UB bug in someone else's code, I'm kind of keen not to make the same mistake myself. The panic has gone too because it's the exception happens first, right? It's not gone, I've just masqueraded it because this throws before it gets to this line here. So what we should be able to do now is just start putting this in. Okay, it's a little bit gross, but we'll go with that. I did actually want to change something that I just thought of. In here, I do want here to be like, and rather than just an empty string, which you might miss, like at least this shows. Right. Although, Aaron, I'm now curious. Colour me intrigued what your proposed solution was. That is UB. The script test CPP. Can you get gtest to print out the full stack information? Gtest print exception. Don't think that is. I might have to do it manually. It's not the end of the world. Okay, so I might look at the paper and see if I can find out why that was the case. There must be some, like the fact that it's explicitly called out, that must be some thought that's gone into that and reason why. That is, so TBKIH, apologies, I don't know how to pronounce that. That's what we're discussing. We don't know why. We would have to probably go to the paper, or like Das Candy said, contact the original author to ask. But for now, here we are. Okay. So interrupt. Oh, not great. Surely I can't have a lifetime issue because it would format the string before it threw. Okay. Yes, never underestimate my ability to mispronounce something. So we got line 3 on 22, which is this one. Something weird's going on here because I'm not even getting this message, right? I'm getting garbage. I think other exceptions. Ooh. Oh. Have exceptions never worked? We've just not seen. Because what does exception take? That takes a string reference, and that will pass it into. So it stood runtime. Surely that's not like a weird lifetime issue with the string. Surely runtime error internally takes a copy of it. Because copying stood runtime. Ooh, and it's gone. Because copying stood time error is not permitted to exceptions, this message is typically stored internally as a separately allocated reference counted string. For the resolution of LWG 254, the non-copy constructor can only accept stood string. It makes dynamic allocation mandatory. Creating a temporary where. Let's. Surely an exception takes a copy of the string though. Right, it has to, because by the very nature of throwing, you are leaving the local scope. So you will only catch it somewhere where you've not thrown it. So why? I would. Oh, I'm also making the game with Harand as well. Like, he is helping. Lots of confusion today. Lots of confusion. I think you'd be more of a real life REPL, like sort of almost like an LLM. I sort of throw ideas at you, and I generally get back pretty good code. I think we need another test. One for your bingo cards. Okay, and then CMake tests, C. Gotta keep you on your toes. Yeah, this is not an engine. This is just a game from scratch, or as much from scratch as possible, and only writing the code needed. So definitely not like a general purpose engine. We would be way behind where we are now, and we're not that far. Okay. Auto exception equals exception hello. Do you want to actually? We should also test the error. We should also test these as well. We're probably not. Well, actually, I think you can test. That was use gtest to test something dies. Let's just see if this works. So assert true exception dot what dot begins with hello, right? But no, in gtest, it's not even like expect throw. I think you can do expect die, so it'll spin up a separate process and it will check that the program exited. Does what return a char start? I think it does, doesn't it? You sure? Expect death, that's it. Should always be expecting that. It could happen at any moment. It starts with starts with. Of course, sometimes it's begin, sometimes it starts with, sometimes it starts. Just run my damn test. Hey, what is? Have I? No, I haven't, have I? Have I just had an absolute horrible realization? Oh no, I do call the base constructor. It will be 3D. I mean, you've joined us at an interesting juncture. I have one of the fundamental classes that we've been relying on this entire time for like half a year, 45 streams, is broken. Rough Night subscribed with Prime. Thank you very much appreciated. I'm glad you're hanging around. Yeah, mate, this is like this is stream 45. And only now have I realised I don't understand how exceptions work, despite being a massive proponent of them. Oh yeah, I forgot also 26 const per exceptions. Anyway, getting ahead of myself. Yeah, I'll run the game in a second. I just want to super quickly see what's going on here. If you don't mind hanging on a bit, I'm kind of halfway through debugging this, and I want to kind of puzzle this one out. The days are long, but the years are short. I am happy for anyone to chip in at this point and provide some colour into what I've done wrong. It's like, look, it's a runtime error. Takes a string what arg, constructs the exception object with what arg as explanatory string. After construction, what and what arg cistra compare the same. I don't think there's anything. Yeah, let's go. Let's go through this. Let's go this. We'll do this from scratch. Okay, this is the smallest error case that I think we've got, as in of weird behavior. We construct our exception class with a const char star, which will get implicitly converted to a std string. Okay, it's exception. We call the dot what on it, which is gets from std runtime error. It prints nothing. But we know stack trace works because we spent a lot of time getting that to work. No, I've not even raised the exception. I've literally just constructed the object. There is no throwing, there's no stack unwinding, there's no mechanics of that. I've literally constructed this object and called what on it. And as far as I'm aware, that you should be able to call what on an unthrown exception, unless I've fundamentally misunderstood how exceptions work. But I'm happy. Oh, virtual, but that's fine. Returns the explanatory string. The pointer to a null terminated string with explanatory information. The pointer is guaranteed to be valid at least until the exception object from which it is obtained is destroyed, or until a non-const member function on the exception object is called. I don't call a non-const member function on it. No, the stack trace came out. This is the stack trace here. It's got the bars around it. Why is the... Yeah, but I shouldn't need to override it. You're saying override it to see if that's the issue. Okay, fine, we can try that. Ooh, steady. Yeah, we can take this back. So we can do const auto what equals exception dot what. This is included in a lot of places. I mean, I have noticed also I don't have. It shouldn't matter because I imagine the base destructor is virtual, right? But okay, so that works. It's something to do with it's not. Seems unlikely to be a unit test. We could go through something in game and run it. It's gotta be done. It is a little bit frustrating. This it's kind of part of the part that I think we should try and think of it as part of the fun. Interesting. Okay. So this something WSL wine. Yeah, it should be multi-threaded compilation. I think whatever Ninja does out of the box, right? Which I think it should be. Yeah, I don't think it matters. I really should move this over to the CP file. No, because this will try and call itself. Like this is how you call the base method. No, this is how you call the base runtime error rather than this one. I mean, we could just not overload the runtime error, but I always have. Do you know what I mean? I really don't see how this could be any different. How? I can't remember why the stack trace is separate to the message. I think I just thought it'd be part of the class, because sometimes maybe you only want to get to the message and not print the full stack trace. It was just a decision I made very early on, and it's not really been an issue for us. Well, this is frustrating. Yeah, pass this in here. Near there. Nah, still nothing. Oh, we could just drop the fact that we inherit just a runtime error and just create our own object. I don't think there's anything extra special we need to do. Obviously, because we're already doing dynamic memory allocations in this anyway, so we're already kind of on the verge of what we need to do. It explicitly won't make any difference, because one, there's 2 arguments, and 2, that's just to do with the implicit casting. Yeah, again, explicit will not make a difference here. Yeah. Let's see if we can. This is defaulted to how many levels to skip in the trace, so it has an implicit second argument. Otherwise, that wouldn't compile. You can see here it's defaulted to 1. Classic. I think this might just be a victim of my tooling, but let's see what happens. So exception has here, so the runtime error, stood exception, somewhere in here. Does have like an empty. I assume this pointer here is not meant to be 0. Hang on, what was if we just. I think like if this doesn't work, then we have some bigger, more fundamental issue, and I suspect it's to do with the setup. And I don't, whilst it's kind of an intellectual curio, I don't think there's much benefit in digging any further into it now, because like what are you going to do if this doesn't work? I think our best bet would be rewrite exception to not inherit from that and then store our own string. I just don't like. I'm not convinced because it has. This is a constructor for it. I don't see why that would make any difference. I mean, I'd rather just fix this. Well, I think we can fix it, continue luring, because I think all we have to do is just change the exception class. Like, I'm not in any way particularly married to inheriting from std runtime. It's just what I've done previously because it gives you a more consistent interface and has slightly better, like, I guess, memory allocation properties for exceptions. But at the end of the day, right? Kind of already out of luck there anyway. And then now I can just do auto const string view, right? And then what becomes remove what? Because I definitely want to make sure I've got a copy of the string, right? I want to take ownership of whatever string is put in here, and then what becomes return what, and then this is except. Yeah, I think there's something to do with my setup, so I don't think there's any time. I don't think it's worth spending any more time on this. I don't think it's inheritance. I think it's fundamentally just a runtime error. It's not doing what it should do on my system, and I am curious, but not curious enough that I'm going to waste any more time, anyone else's time on looking into it. So we'll get that done, and then this should, I think this should just keep working. Not necessarily. Like if I know I want to take ownership of it, then I'll have to do a copy anyway. So this is just being explicit saying, you know, I want to take a copy here, and then by having by taking it as an R value reference, there are certain nuances with what you can pass here, but like you can always pass by value, and then I'll just move it in. This is a not too uncommon idiom to basically state I want a copy of this. Yeah, you know what? I'll let you have it. I hope we no longer have to debug the issue. Oh, yeah, what have I done wrong? Right, so get rid of this. In fact, actually, the what doesn't need to start with because I haven't got the exception trace. That should be. Using std namespace rules. Std namespace? Alright, passed. I saw it pass before I quickly get rid of it. Ugh, come on, what do I do now? Oh, because it's true, isn't it? Equal. Is it? Am I being stupid? Is it just? It's just that. Okay. Okay, so now we go back to what we had before, which was Lua. Okay, so now it prints the stack. Stack index 1 is not a number. Do a number? Oh, because I probably need to format that a little bit better. So let's do the interop. Put some backslash n's in there. Okay, right. Stack index 1 is not a number. Number. Another bizarre error. Std_endl flushes the output stream, so depending on how your program exits, if it's exiting before it's flushed std_out, then you might not get the message, whereas std_endl guarantees it is flushed to std_out. So that might be why your std_endl has an impact on the functioning of your code. It's possible to use anything, mate. Like you could literally use anything. Like the world is your oyster. I've just chosen to use Lua. Hey, yeah, no, go. No worries. Thanks for showing up. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully catch you another one. Oh, interesting, AC. Can you post a link maybe on the Discord or something? Or I think you should be able to post in the chat. It'd be interesting to know what it is. Is it -1? Let me have a look. What do we do for... No, I don't think it is, because in the Lua script, right? When we do is number, or is integer, these are just positive indices, right? I think there's a lot of value in writing your own wrappers as a like kind of learning exercise. So that's what I've done. Hopefully, it's interesting to people. And yeah, I think it's fun. Like I know this has been a little bit stressful, a little bit annoying, but I think it's fun. I think check number is wrong anyway. I think this should be Lua. Is it whatever I did in the other one? 2 number. But it still doesn't explain why this is wrong. Unless have I got the ordering wrong? Like... Oh, yes, you're right. I will need to pop the stack as well. So maybe that is right for now then. Let's just leave that as there before I forget. Let's not change too many things at once. I just don't understand this. Yeah, I think normally you would use a library, right? But again, a part of this streaming series is to try and build as much from scratch as possible, just because it's fun and it's useful learning experience for people. So it's it's a decision we've made for a lot of things, and I think it's going all right. Oh yeah, you're right, I do pop. Okay, fine. So let's run this again, because I'm very confused. Not really TDD, I'm just trying to write some tests as we go along. It's just like index 1 is not a number. The thing at index 1 is a number. I don't. Hang on. Have I been stupid? No, that's right. I want to ensure that this is 1. Oh. The test has passed. It's because I catch it and print it. That's why. So if I rethrow the exception, then it will fail. It's still throwing the exception. I've just swallowed it. But it's a good point. That is exactly the kind of mistake I would make. Right, it's getting pretty hot in this Rhino, so I think we'll go for a little bit longer, and then we'll call it for today, and then we'll have another crack at it on Wednesday. I'm just very confused. Like this. Yes. I need to go from the top down. That's why. I could be wrong. I guess I think this is unrelated to the point. I thought throw did rethrow the current exception, but I'd have to check that. I thought it did. I mean, I have access to the object anyway, so I could rethrow it. Yep. You stream test week. Make a message in C++. It's kind of weird though, because according to our print thing, we only had 3 things in the stack, so I guess going from top to bottom or bottom up, I don't really see how that would make any difference. But I say, maybe I made a mistake. So now let's see if we can wrap all this together in a test to actually the intro tests. Okay. Script tests. Because this I've realized this test is wrong, right? It doesn't actually test we print anything. So let's just fix that. Check we've not broken that. And then we can go look at doing something other. Checking the value in and out. Here we go. And then we can do assert equals output. How does it print it? It's like, it's this, isn't it? I think that's wrong, because don't we expect it to be at 1.0, 2.0, 3.0? I've done some videos, I've done a call out to streaming, so that's tabs, and it is interesting, it is in the wrong order. Okay. I must admit, I'm a little bit vain, so I'm desperately trying to get to the 100,000 subscriber milestone so I can get a sweet little silver play button, so I guess I'm kind of directing more people to subscribe than anything else at the moment. Yeah, Invosy, I don't know if you should use string view by value. If I've used it by const for somewhere, that's just an oversight on my part. But yeah, you should by and large it's just a pointer and a size, right? So you should, it's cheap to copy. Well, I suppose when I get 100k. Alub with super chat, thank you very much. Doing low level stuff and creating a game engine is one of the coolest things ever. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying it. What's your stance on custom proprietary file formats? You love them. I have very little opinion on file formats. I prefer stuff to be open because I think it's better to be able to understand it and potentially assess security risks and stuff like that. So I'm not a massive fan of closed stuff, but then it's more fun to RE. So I guess you can kind of find the fun in it anyway. Hopefully that kind of answers your question. So I think now that we're taking these from effectively the reverse way of the stack, then we need to R3, and I can say the same, and this can be R1, R1. Yeah, we've had two, which is very kind, and I do appreciate it, so thank you very much. Always. We might be able to, I think we might almost have to add that to the bingo card. Okay, cool. So that works, which is nice. So now the final thing is for the interop tests. Oh no, that's fine. Where's the Lewis script tests? Oh, sorry. This is if you construct it within it. So this is what we started off with, and it was kind of working. We can call vector3 as a constructor, I guess, effectively within Lua, and this will automatically pass through to the C++ code. What we were trying to do is check that we can pass this into the function. So I think we're kind of there now. Jeremy, thank you very much appreciated. What a kind gesture. Thank you so much. So if we now, who's going to be next? No, I'm just joking, but maybe. Output. What's this going to be? 1.0 tab 2.0 tab 3.0 / n. AC, come on. You do enough. You don't. Danny, for doing that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. AC created Discord and helps manage that. Nice. Okay. Done. And Queco, 100 bits. Thank you very much. Very kind. You guys are far too kind. Right. Okay. I think we just comment this up, and I think we're kind of there. So that's like strike runtime error code, and then add exception tests. And I didn't actually write a lot of code this stream. Like, I'm just looking at the diff. It's pretty small. I spent 2 hours to not write a lot of code. I guess it was the right code. So Lua script. Okay, so format Lua script-ish. Where's that interop? I just saw something I didn't want. Finish passing vector 3 into Lua 4 tag stream 45. Let's push that up. Right. You should see Harand. Thank you very much. Becoming a member. Yeah, you should see string view as a primitive, as a vocabulary type, just something that you can pass into a function. I would treat it almost like a primitive type. So the source for this is not yet on GitHub because I've got a lot. Oh, actually, I said I was going to show everyone what we had. Let's just have a quick go back of that. The source is not yet on GitHub because I've got a bunch of models and stuff that I've purchased for and I can't redistribute. I am currently in the process. So let's take a step back. I try and do a video a month, roughly. So the one for what month are we now? May went up yesterday. So I'm, in my mind, like the video for this month is done, which is pretty sweet, which does give me a little bit of breathing room. So I am currently trying to tidy up the code to a bit where I can open source some of it. It won't be all the models. It might not be all the Lua stuff because it's not finished yet. But my plan is to tidy up, improve some bits, and get it out for people to start looking at. And then I will try and keep that updated with the game as we go along. So yeah, that's what we've got. We've got a little world. This barrel here moves with the player, but only when you're looking at it. If I go over here, I'm not looking at it, it doesn't move. And the goal is to get it to the target. And then when you get it to the target, it goes to the next level, and that has a barrel with a different mechanic. So this one over here moves in the opposite way to the player. So if I move forward, it moves back. If I move back, it moves forward, right, left, left, right. Again, only when you're looking at it. And the goal is to get it to the target. And then the game, I don't know why it spawned over there. That's the plan for that. Yeah, maybe, probably something like that. It's going to be a little puzzle game. That's my plan. But I want to be able to iterate faster and potentially open up the ability for other people to write levels. So that's why we're going down the Lua route. It's, as always, taken longer than I expected, but I think it's been a lot of fun. Plan for next... Oh yeah, so yeah, I've got a bit more time, so hopefully I can start trying to open source that. Plan for next stream. It's all OpenGL. Like, I'm just keeping it simple. It's 4.6 and it uses DSA and reasonably modern OpenGL, but I'm just trying to, for a one-man band who just only works on it for a couple of hours a day live, a couple of hours a week live, trying to keep it simple. Yeah, I think we might end up integrating more and more Lua once we've got it. yeah, I think that's kind of the plan. I think, but my goal for this is, for the first version of the game, right, for whatever that is, the first release, I want to have written every single line of code live. So I don't do anything off stream. If I do mess around with anything off stream, I always revert it, throw it away, and we start off each stream from exactly where we left before. So the whole of version 1 should just be written entirely live. That's my goal. So it does mean I only get a couple of hours of progress twice a week, but we are making pretty good progress. And actually, when you look back, we've done quite a lot, which is pretty cool. I think I've got a free YouTube thing. Do I have a free YouTube thing? Oh, I thought I did. Where's it gone? Oh, Bear, hold on one moment, caller. Reload that page. That sounds risky. Yes, Discord, do come along. It's good fun. It's pretty active. I'm trying to grow that community as much as possible. If someone wants to throw out the link on YouTube, bang, Discord it. Well, that's broken, so that's good. Thanks. I think YouTube Studio has this tab. Hold on. Be there in a minute. This is top quality content that I know everyone signed up for. Me clicking on something off screen and shouting at it. Better than a broken stub runtime error though. Come on, you piece of shite. Really wanted to do this. I think that tab has just died. Thank you. Right, create, go live. I know I'm already live. Let's try this again. Click this one. Okay, it's not even giving me the option anymore. I don't know, maybe they've changed it. I used to be able to gift subscriptions, but the option is not even there, so apologies if you're hanging around hoping for that. That's not a thing at the moment. I'll have a look into that. But anyway, I'm going to have a beer and get out of this sweat locker. Maybe everyone already has one. That'd be pretty cool. Projects. Yeah, I think just like Discord, we're figuring out a lot as we go along. So I'm happy for people to throw stuff at it and see what happens. And AC will ban you if he doesn't like it. But yeah, no, feel free to update the projects and showcase and add more details to it. I think that's pretty cool. Right, have a good one, everyone. I'll see you Wednesday where we'll do some more of whatever we've been doing. It's been good fun. Catch you later.